and welcome to The Bond, the show which helps you bond with nature. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit more exciting than normal. We're going to understand a concept of art and what the future of art would be. And if you evaluate the future of art or the art of the future, you might come up with a term like Artura. Now, where have you heard the term Artura before? You may have heard it with McLaren, the manufacturer of supercars. And what we're going to be discussing today is how art can help us both be sustainable and really excited about the development of the automotive industry. And we'll be talking with Roger. But before we talk with Roger, let's understand a little bit about the basics of McLaren, just in case you haven't heard about them. So they are focusing on how to take their lessons learned from Formula One racing and bring it to the road to give you the opportunity to get that exhilarating feeling of what it's like to be behind the wheel of a well-crafted precision machine. So if you've heard of sustainability and also performance, you might think that those things do not belong together, but they actually do. Think about a hybrid powertrain mixed with a twin turbocharged V8 engine and an electric motor. Think about how that equation could equal about 670 or so horsepower. Now, what is that number? What is 671 like? Well, imagine pulling a very small elephant about 60 miles per hour with no problem at all. Think about a pickup truck that might weigh roughly 5,000 pounds and being able to tow that uphill with this supercar. So all of that sort of gives you a sense of what that force is. Now, they have something called the 765 LT Spider, which is based off of a 720S model body, and that new 765 Spider is the convertible version of the Artura, and it gives you about 25% more horsepower and really provides you that roller coaster rush. It helps you sort of slice through the air like an arrow. And all of these cars are very well thought out for weight, because obviously the lighter it is, the more it can hug those curves. It has a monocage too, which is a very sort of stiff, sturdy, ultralight chassis. And inside on the P1 seats, now remember, P1 seats are usually reserved for Formula One cars because of their ergonomics, the lightweight, and that sculpted molding. But those seats are covered with Alcantara, which is this sort of beautiful, plush, very nice to the feel type sense of luxury. So you get all that combined into a hybrid car that is electric and gas when it needs to be. In addition to that, you have Pirelli tires, which are fantastic for doing things like cornering, better braking, helps you with steering under high-speed conditions. These are durable tires, and of course, they have a variety of innovations. Now, why would McLaren develop a hybrid car now? Well, it's not their first time. They actually started developing it back in 2013. As a matter of fact, they were one of the first groundbreaking designs that helped to develop a hybrid car, let alone a super hybrid car. And if you want to look it up, it's the Hyper. It's had a V8 plus an electric engine, and they also had the ERS, which is the energy recovery system. Now, this is what converts kinetic energy into sort of electric energy, which helps with fuel efficiency. McLaren has been doing a lot of experiments and a lot of gains from their Formula One technologies. So what we want to do is understand a little bit more about this. And we're going to be talking with Roger. We're going to see if the responsiveness on the road, if the carbon fiber weightlessness, if all of those beautiful lines can really come together and indeed let you have it all. And with that, I'm going to ask, Roger, can you hear me?
Joe, yes, I can. Nice to be involved, and thank you for inviting me along.
Excellent. I'm so happy that you're here. And I was wondering if you could tell me what your thoughts are on the trends in the motor industry with all automotives.
Well, it's fascinating because it's constantly changing, as you know. There was a very big rush towards pure electrification, as you know, over the last few years, and massive investments from every manufacturer in developing pure electric cars. Maybe the customer embracement of that hasn't been quite as swift as some OEMs and I think governments imagined, and it's slightly stalled a little bit in the last 6, 8, 9 months. And there's been more of an embracement then of hybridization. So the industry at the moment is very mixed. There is the choice across the board. There's fully electric cars and fully electric pickups nowadays, as you know. You've got the hybrid alternative, and you've still got internal combustion engine cars, and people are making their own choices amongst those three.
So, but for a fully combustion car, like a supercar that's like, what is it? Don't you have a Solara? That's a very fast car.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely, that was built off of a video game, right? To bring something.
Oh, the Solus, yes, the Solus GT. Now that purely is an internal combustion engine car. That was it was actually developed from the Sony PlayStation game, Vision Gran Turismo. And we were asked to design a car for the video game. And what's more fun than actually bringing a video game to life? So we became the first manufacturer to actually build the car from the video game.
Yeah, that sounds amazing that you're able to actually take something that someone just conceived in make-believe and you made it real. That's outstanding.
We did. And it's customers that are so excited. It's basically... it's a single-seat car. It looks very much like a racing car. It's really the closest you could get to owning your own Formula One car. And we had 25 lucky customers around the world that put their names down for this, and we've just started delivering those. So it's effectively a V10, almost identical to Formula One engines 10, 12 years ago. The customers that bought those take them out on tracks. It's track only. But they get the sense of ability to really
I think that's exciting. But that just to me epitomizes how McLaren is really doing their research, and they have such fantastic engineers in order to develop that sort of thing. So going back to the hybrid car, why is it that you decided to build the Spider? Can you tell me that?
The hybrid, yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to what you were saying originally, Joe. If we go back to what you were saying, the P1, the hypercar, just over 10 years ago now, we developed that. It was one of the first hybrids out there. We really embraced electrification in that car and the use of hybridization to add performance and power to our cars. That was a very limited car. There were only 375 of those, and they were close to $1 million at the time. So very advanced, very state of the art. But we continued behind the scenes to develop that technology and to work with it. We also used it in another hypercar that we did called the Speedtail, which had a 250 mile per hour top speed. That also had hybridization and electrification in it, as well as part of the internal combustion engine package. But then what we were trying to do was get it to what we call mass manufacturing. Now, mass manufacturing for McLaren isn't tens of thousands of cars. It's 2,500, 3,000 cars a year. But we've managed to, within the Artura, encapsulate really all of the philosophy from that P1 hypercar into a car that is probably 10 times as efficient as the P1 in terms of its use of hybridization.
Really?
But costs a third of the price, or less than a third of the price. So it's that continual development. And that really comes from our racing background, Joe. That's where that comes from.
So the Formula One racing, you actually learn lessons. You have sort of an engineering meeting after those, and you say, how can we make this more roadworthy as opposed to track-worthy? What's that process like?
Yeah, there's a lot of, it's not quite a meeting after every race, but there's a lot of calibration between the racing engineers and the road car engineers.
Okay.
And the race team themselves were developing electrification, obviously, for the Formula One cars. We actually, with Formula E, the totally electric race series, which we're also a part of, we have a McLaren team in that as well. We actually developed the batteries for all of the teams. We were manufacturing the batteries for all of the teams originally in that series. So we learned a lot about compact, high-density batteries and the performance of those batteries through the racing teams and their experience. So, yes, there is a lot of crossover between the two. and that's where a lot of the learnings come from. But the road car, so once we've got that technology on board, we'll take it off and develop it so it's more relevant and usable for road cars, because a race car only needs it for 2 hours. A road car needs it a little bit longer.
So what is the behind the scenes effort that McLaren does in order to focus on sustainability efforts?
Well, I think what we're looking at is for us, it's the long term. Whereas it's not just electrification. So for us, efficiency is lightweighting. The lighter you make a car, and the more it's more efficient overall. The lighter you can make it, the more efficient it is. So a lot of our focus is on lightweighting, because we can get the weight of the car down. You were talking about, I think earlier on, trucks at 5, 6, 7,000 pounds, and I think some of the EV trucks are close to 7,500, 8,000 pounds. They're pretty heavy.
Wow.
Yeah. So we look at our hybrid, the Artura Spider, is only 3,200 pounds.
Oh wow.
So yeah. So
wait. If it's 3,200 pounds, what's the downforce on that?
Well, there's a lot of downforce as well because of the aerodynamic efficiency of the car. The way the car's designed is designed so it flows through the air, but it also creates downforce at the same time for road holding. You were talking about how exciting to drive. Well,
wow.
That's developed through the aerodynamic shape. If you keep everything very low, which we obviously do in a supercar, including the battery and all the ancillaries, you develop a car that is a great handling car because its centre of gravity is much lower. So I think efficiency to us is definitely about that ability to keep the weight at an absolute minimum, because then you're being as efficient as you possibly can.
So with the carbon fiber being not weightless, but really, really light, how is it that sort of feeds into the way the back deck is arranged, and with all the high heat that comes off of the exhaust? Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah, so the structure of the car is raised basically, you're in a carbon fibre cell. That's the best way to describe it. The whole driver environment is carbon fibre, and then from there you've got aluminum extrusions off the back and front of the car that hold both the engine, which is behind the driver and in the middle of the car, again for weight, the balance of the car. And then at the front you have a crash safety zone, and then the engine is obviously behind the driver. But being in that position, it's not getting air cooling into it very quickly from the front, as a normal car would have. You have your cooling and your radiator at the front of the car. So in a mid-rear engine car, or a mid-engine car as we have, you're very much focused on the aerodynamics of the car to make it as efficient and cool it as well as you can. So at the front of the car, you have what we call LTRs, low temperature radiators, and at the back, those big scoops you see on the side at the back, the big air intake behind the driver doors.
That's what the LTR is?
Those are the lot, yes.
Okay.
They
have a name.
No, there's HTRs as well there, so high temperature radiators, and they're taking as much, the shape of the body is pushing all the air down the side of the car as efficiently as it can, but then in through the engine to cool the engine at the same time to make, again, the engine as efficient as possible. And then with the Artura Spider, because it's a twin turbo, and that generates heat in its own right. So you actually have the turbos mounted, we call it a hot V, so it's a V engine.
Okay.
But the turbos are mounted in the middle of the V of the engine. And they produce a lot of heat, as you can imagine, being in that position. So we have what we call a chimney, little outlet at the back there, where the heat is dissipated from the engine as quickly as possible. So you have the cooling air coming in, pushing the hot air up through this little chimney at the back.
So you have a chimney in the back, but then
a little chimney,
the tiny chimney is going to be having a lot of heat. So you've got to have something coming across for cooling, right?
Yeah, and that's the way the air flows around the back of the car.
Got it. Okay,
and that's all the design of the car. That's where.
Nothing melts.
No, nothing melts. Not at all.
It's high speed. So,
exactly.
So can you tell me?
But it's all very computer designed. It's all about, it's done in the wind tunnel, much like a racing car is as well, to get the most aerodynamic and efficient flow of the air through the car.
That's fascinating. So can you tell me who is the ideal customer? Like, is this just an aspirational car, or can people actually go out and buy it at their local dealership?
They can go and buy it at their local dealership. I mean, the cars, it's aspirational, obviously.
Of course.
They're not cheap, obviously. Prices start at around $225,000, $230,000, but you could walk into a dealership and buy one. We have a very good certified pre-owned program where we warranty the car up to 10 years from manufacturer. So our dealers do have pre-owned cars. So there's that choice as well if somebody's interested. But our typical customers are enthusiasts. They love cars. They love driving. And that's what puts them apart a little bit, is because our customers love to use their cars. They don't put them in the garage and polish them all week and use them once a month. They literally go out and drive them. We have some quite high mileage McLarens where people literally use it as a daily driver. They'll go to the store in it. They'll go and pick up the groceries in it. They'll go to work in it. And again, what is definitely a facet of our owners is they love to track their cars because we are born of racing. And the cars really come into their own on tracks. We do a lot of track days with our owners. And what is also interesting, something I've noticed very much since I've been at the company, is McLaren's very much a family. We were founded by an individual called Bruce McLaren, who set up his own race team and built his own race cars. And he very much had a family feeling with his staff back in the 60s. And that's carried on through the company, weirdly, for the last 50 years, 60 years that we've been around. There's very much an inclusive atmosphere to McLaren. We might build exclusive cars, but we're incredibly inclusive, both of our owners and of our enthusiasts, our fans. I mean, if we take a car out, we always let people sit in it. We let people take photographs with it. If you're in a dealership, they will open up a car and let you sit in the car. We encourage people to interact with our cars because we know they're enthusiasts, much like we are.
Well, I think that's fantastic. And on that note, while everybody is daydreaming about their next McLaren and possibly figuring out how they can drive a Spider and put the top down while they are driving, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these messages. And we are back, and we're going to finish up our exciting discussion with Roger from McLaren. So can you tell me a little bit more about your customer loyalty program? How is it that you can keep these McLaren enthusiasts so dedicated that they refuse to drive any other car?
I think it's what I mentioned earlier on about the McLaren family. It really is an inclusive family. People that buy either a used McLaren, a certified pre-owned one, or have three hypercars, are all really treated the same, and they love driving their cars. So we try to create events for them that they can join together and talk about their enthusiasm and their cars and their love of driving. And some of those road trips.
Does that mean that you can have a whole bunch of people all with their McLarens of all different models going to a destination?
Absolutely. So around, say, the Pebble Beach Classic Car Week in August, we usually do a drive from somewhere like maybe Las Vegas or Los Angeles, and they'll all drive up together and talk and enjoy their cars and enjoy a really cool road trip. Yes, absolutely.
So how does that tie into safety? Because these are going to be on the road and there's hazards on Los Angeles freeways. So how does that work?
That's a good question. I think, as you can imagine, a supercar is developed with the handling, the braking, and the acceleration are all there to help you really control the car in a much more efficient way. So they have incredible braking, they have incredible acceleration for getting away from issues very quickly, and the handling is pinpoint, very accurate. So you know exactly where the car is all the time. So in that sense, they also have incredibly good visibility. Typically with supercars, you don't have good visibility, but we design them with, as you saw probably on the Artura Spider, it has glass rear pillars. And the 720 and the 750 have almost an aerospace style cockpit with a lot of surrounding glass, so you can really see where you are on the road at all times.
So it's not a 360 view, but it's probably like a 280 view or something?
It's much better than a traditional supercar.
Oh,
yes.
Absolutely. That's amazing.
And then you're talking about safety. We talked about carbon fiber earlier on.
Yeah.
It really is light and incredibly strong. You probably see, if any of your listeners, viewers watch F1 racing, when there's an accident in F1 now, the drivers walk away from some incredible accidents because that cell is a safety cell, and it's incredibly strong. So as you can see from race cars, people walk away from some pretty crazy accidents because of the strength of those carbon fiber cells, which every McLaren has as well. So you're kind of cocooned within a safety cell anyway. So yes, safety is very much a key part of it too.
Well, we like avoiding accidents. We just want to have the fun and the thrill and no bad stuff. But it's good to know that you have it engineered so that safety is in mind. Safety and sustainability combined with this amazing performance that you have is just outstanding. So what is the whole design process or the history of that design? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
It really comes down to one race car engineering. So aerodynamics, efficiency, performance, and then I think really pushing the envelope all the time. Our engineers are always looking for ways to save weight or engineer the car to be more performance oriented or handle better. Or I often tell the story of when we've had interns in the factory, engineering interns.
Okay.
And the apocryphal stories, they typically give them when you've got your wheel on the car and you have the little tyre caps on for your air pressure.
Right,
And now that must be the smallest and lightest part on any car. But they always give it to these engineering interns, say, can you engineer a microgram out of that hubcap?
Out of the tire cap?
The little tire cap, yeah. And
that's what you give the interns is the assignment to engineer microgram out of that one piece?
That's the mentality. It's like, that's what we do. And like, how much can you keep the integrity of the car, but engineer more weight out of it? Because as we talked about, weight is the enemy of efficiency. So
do you must have a material science expert on hand then?
They are, yeah. So, yeah, and they're very detailed in be it on the airflow on the car or the design of the car in terms of the way it's everything's done for a reason. Nothing's done as, let's say, jewelry. It's all done for either to enhance the performance, enhance the handling, or enhance the efficiency of the car.
That is fantastic. So when are you going to develop a 4-seater?
We've been asked that question a lot, and we had a 3-seater. We've had 2 3-seaters actually with our hypercars, the F1 and the Speedtail were actually three-seater cars. So we have said that we are looking in the future at what we would call a shared performance vehicle, which will have more than two seats. So something we're in active development of. It's a few years down the road yet, but then it would be nice for everybody to share with their family and friends. So.
Well, I appreciate that little sneak peek into what's happening in the research and development lab. So we definitely are very interested in seeing what happens next. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us. And we will be right back after these messages. So stay with us. So we just had a fantastic discussion with Roger from McLaren, and we learned about their goals for sustainability, their plans on developing a possible 3 and maybe even a 4-seater in the future. We had this amazing insight into how they have these Pebble Beach drives where they get everybody together to go on trips and journeys, racetracks, and they do so many other things in order to cement that customer loyalty. So they are using a lot of performance and sustainability, and they do maintain their leadership position in the industry from their Formula One roots. And they even inspired me a little bit. And so let me just read you something. In worlds where asphalt meets sky, a marvel shaped by nature's hawk-like cry, McLaren is sleek and bold, a hero at your side. Fierce, a little bit like gold, light and strong, its form is inspired, forged by elements, by winds admired, poised for attack with apex might, a predator on asphalt, a thrilling sight. So 0 to 60 in a heartbeat's flash, pure allure in a lightning flash. And beyond these numbers, these senses they meet, a driver's thrill, engagement so sweet. Luxury fused with speed's embrace, and when technology and passions meet, they race. So evolution soaring and flight so bright, McLaren's innovation reaches new heights. From track to street, it finds its role, a symphony of speed and a warrior's soul. And so that is what McLaren is about. They want to go ahead and make everything something that you can attain, from going into your dealership and just getting the car or leasing it from a used program for pre-owned. And with that, I want to say thank you so much for joining us on this incredible adventure. And until we bond again.